Before we get this video started, I have to remind you that I now have the website launched. That's ericdjuly.com. I also have a new podcast called For Canon's Sake, in which we talk about a lot of different things from comic books, social commentary, political commentary here and there. So be sure to check that out. ericdjuly.com as well as forcanonsake.com. And the podcast is live almost on all major digital platforms. When this was announced some months back that it would be a thing, I said this was an absolute no-brainer, that I would be all over this. I think that the same can be said for many of the more mature Marvel audiences. Savage Avengers consists of three of some of my favorite characters in Brother Voodoo, Punisher, and Wolverine. I would have been content with those alone, but they added Venom, Conan, the Barbarian, as well as Elektra to the mix. When I first saw this team, along with the name Savage Avengers, I thought to myself, how on earth are they just now doing this? This seems like a no-brainer. Really, all of this team really needs is just Blade, and you have something that's irrefutably great. Maybe he pops up at some time, who knows? Nonetheless, on the team alone, this has to be one of my more favorite, no, this is my most favorite Avengers team assembled. Yes, I know this is an offshoot Avengers team, but it's one in name nonetheless. It seems like this is a team that is willing to do what it takes, even if it means catching a couple of bodies. That's what makes this so intriguing. Okay, let's dive into the first issue of Savage Avengers. All right, so this is the cover. Starting over here at the bottom, we have Wolverine, notably of the X-Men, Elektra, which you know from Daredevil, Punisher. We got Conan, who I think they've recently done a solid job of developing. I was kind of nervous about how they would handle the character when they reacquired the rights, I believe, of last year. But they've done a solid job in how they've handled Conan thus far. So obviously we have Conan, then we have Brother Voodoo, one of my favorite characters. And then we have Venom. And I'm saying, man, Brother Voodoo is a character that these guys are sleeping on. They should be expanding on him, and I'm glad they're giving them some love with Savage Avengers. We start the book off with a singer by the name of Saviano being kidnapped, and then we immediately go to the Savage Land. And this is where Saviano is transported to. They are at the city of Sickles, and you see this bloody pool. It's a bowl in which they throw people in there for the sake of a sacrifice. Now, according to this guy, they are trying to summon Joalton Lao, so they have been throwing people in this pool that consists of the finest that mankind really has to offer: artists, thinkers, warriors, and so forth. So as you can guess, Saviano is pushed inside of the pool. This is chapter 1, and it's called Once Upon a Time in the City of Sickles. And it reads over here, Conan the Barbarian joined a band of Avengers on a dire mission to restore light to the universe. Their victory came at a cost for the Sumerian. In the battle, or the final battle, he was cast away by their enemy, but instead of landing back in the Hyborian age, he found himself on present-day Earth in Savage Land. This is referencing Avengers No Road Home. You can go read that. It's pretty cool. It has Conan's in it, obviously, Scarlet Witch, Hercules, a bunch of different Avengers are a part of it. It's a cool little offshoot in which they deal with this new enemy by the name of Nyx, and that's exactly what they're referring to. The story is written by Jerry Dugan. The artist is Mike Deodato Jr., and the colorist is Frank Martin. So we continue on with Conan, of course, in the Savage Land, kicking all kinds of ass. He's on his way to the city of Sickles because he hears that there's some rumor of treasure being there. I think the whole idea of this really is to set the scene on how violent things are about to be. To me, Conan is the perfect character to capture the tone of this series. He's stabbing cats in the head. But then out of nowhere, OG Logan, aka Wolverine, pops up, and we get this badass scene of Logan and Conan going at it. Also, Logan takes a sword to the head right here like it's nothing. And this version of Logan is friggin' jacked, man. I do think that these are two characters that clash so well, so I was really excited to see this. They are letting you know, again, what this theme is going to be with this comic from the get-go. There's no shortage of blood. And we even have Logan giving Conan a swift kick to the nuts. But he does get stabbed in the heart over here. Now he isn't dead, and they do get back to throwing hands pretty much is all that's taking place here, even falling down this cliff. I didn't mention that Logan is looking for the hand, and he had no intentions on killing Conan. Now, they all fall into this little store, and Conan takes a swig out of a barrel, and then he gives some to Logan. It's now that they decide to figure out who the other is. If you read the other comics, like I said, Avengers No Road Home, you know why Conan is in the Savage Land. Nonetheless, Conan says he's looking for this treasure, and Logan says that's not why he's personally there. We get this funny segment here where Conan says he's Conan of Samaria, and Logan says he's Logan of Paps. But Conan gives him the props, says that he has never met a man as deathless as Logan. The two then let each other in on why they are specifically there, right? And then they shake hands and bounce. Conan's like, if you trying to go for this treasure, bro, we gon' beef again. Now I think it's really cool right here how they really differentiate the height. A lot of artists don't do that with Logan. As you can see, he's what he's supposed to be. He's 5'3", and he's way shorter than Conan. Now we go to Madripoor, where we see my man Jericho Drum, aka Brother Voodoo, aka Dr. Voodoo. I have a poster that some of you may have seen of him holding a voodoo doll of Gambit, and people are like, who is this character? Now anyway, he's in Madripoor. He links up with Yun, whose son was kidnapped by the Hand. Oddly, they do get on this elevator, and the floor that they get off on has a bunch of members of the Hand, and of course he says he didn't come unprepared. You see this little voodoo doll of a Hand member. We then go back to Conan, who is climbing up a castle, and it looks like Conan did find his treasure right here, and the amulet is with the current owner. We also get what looks like to be a Venom sort of type character there. And over here we see the Jericho Drum, who is now in the Savage Land, is looking like he's about to be kicked into this pool and sacrificed, the same pool that the singer went in at the beginning of the issue. The cult leader explains that he's doing this because there's some planet beyond Pluto that once every millennium, it sits in the orbit to form a conjunction with Earth. Again, Joalton, I'm probably butchering this name, Lao, who is the marrow god, according to him. They're telling a story right here. Apparently the last time this happened, nobody survived, and they are giving this another go, filling the bowl. As you can see, that this guy kind of favors Venom a little bit. Then Wolverine pops up, and it looks like his whole mission was to save Brother Voodoo. The cult leader seems to maybe have slit his throat. Right here, the Hand then attack Wolverine, and they also bring in these caskets right here. And according to them, the idea is that they're trying to really lure another warrior here for this sacrifice. And then that's when we end with this issue right here. So Frank Castle, aka the Punisher, looking in this hole, he sees, and it's pretty obvious, that the caskets of the family, of his family, have been taken from the cemetery. Now, that's pretty cold-blooded. So this is how Punisher gets introduced to this, and that's exactly how we end this issue. All right, so that does it for the first issue of Savage Avengers. We haven't quite seen Elektra yet. We've got only a couple of glimpses of Venom, but I'm really stoked on how this story is going to develop. All of the characters, as I mentioned earlier, they're just intriguing alone, but you add them to sort of this team dynamic. Let's see what happens. I'm sure they're gonna butt heads. You're gonna have those different clashes of egos and personalities, so I'm looking forward to all of that. With that being said, that's going to wrap it up. Hope you enjoy this sort of review. I will maybe do some more reviews down the line. Of course, I'll be keeping up with it. Anyway, let me know what you think of the first issue. If you personally read it, we obviously just went through it, but just let me know how you feel in the comments. Until next time, man, y'all be easy.